You are listening to Thunderbolt Sports Talk. Here are your hosts, Charlie Adams and Timothy Yee.
Welcome to episode 7 of season 2 of Thunderbolt Sports Talk. And still no Cranston East sports to talk about as we're in between winter and spring sports, but there's plenty of professional sports news to go over, Tim.
Of course. First things first for East News. Apparently it will be coming up. Practices starting next week, but nothing too much to hoot about there. Just, straight up practices and workouts and whatnot. Trying to just make that team. Unless tryouts have already happened. I know volleyball has been promoting about it all week.
Doric has been, especially yesterday, packed in with a bunch of teams, a bunch of players, kind of the captain's practices going on there. A lot of activity, and especially yesterday when it was one of the most beautiful days we've had in months. And, 60 degrees. If you weren't outside during that day, you better have a good excuse because it was beautiful the whole day.
Spring is absolutely springing right now. We're not even at that March 21st mark yet. It's March 15th. So we're already seeing some pretty good weather. So it's a great time to get outside. Chaz, is spring your favorite season out of all the sports seasons?
Oh, out of sports seasons, I'd probably say so. Maybe closer to fall, though. Just as a regular season, weather-wise and even sports-wise, because it's baseball playoffs and the start of the other 3 sports that people care about, NFL, NHL, and NBA really starting up around that time, too. So it's a pretty good time in fall heading towards winter, both weather-wise and sports-wise. Yesterday it was 60 degrees and sunny. Today, expect more of the same. If you're listening on a Friday, it's supposed to be 60 degrees today, a little cloudy today, and a little rain earlier on, but pretty good day. And this room is already getting pretty heated up. I can't wait to feel this room when it gets to those late May and even late April times, because it's already pretty toasty in here. And there's only 2 of us in here because our producer's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I'm going to have to keep a close eye on 2 doors today, Chaz, in case our producer eyes his way in here. And then we're going to have to we're not going to take a break. Yeah, we're going
to leave him out there probably.
Probably, unless
8 a.m. when we got going here, and he's nowhere to be seen, but we're here and we're ready to get into a busy week, especially in the NFL, where free agency opened and a bunch of deals came right out of the gate and a bunch of releases. It kind of seems like all the big skill position players are on a new team.
Basically, especially the running backs, as there's been a whole ton of movement out there the last couple days, especially day 1. The wide receivers have been picking up as of late, and we've still got a couple more receivers to watch. T. Higgins requested a trade out of Cincinnati, so that's going to be interesting to see how they respond. But
people are also curious to see if the Vikings will move on from Justin Jefferson. They could definitely get a lot back for him at his current rate and how he played in the past couple seasons. That's a big target. I know there's definitely teams reaching out looking to see the availability of him.
What's basically been the best receiver in the NFL in the last couple years, he's definitely a hot commodity. The question brings up, could the Patriots trade for him? They haven't really been doing much in free agency, though, because they've signed Antonio Gibson, part of the running back moving around, Austin Hooper, backup tight end basically for the Patriots. Hunter Henry was re-signed. Mike Onwenu was re-signed. A lot of re-signings from that 2020 draft class. I think Anthony Jennings got an extension, just re-signed. Josh Uche re-signed on a 1-year deal. Just a whole lot of re-signings, especially from that 2020 class.
Well, the big shakeup for the Patriots was definitely their quarterback position, where Mac Jones is off to his hometown. It's nice to at least after pretty much ruining his career, send him back home, if anywhere. So he's off to Jacksonville, and it looks like the quarterback who will hopefully be mentoring our rookie quarterback, whoever we draft, is going to be Jacoby Brissett, a familiar face around Foxborough.
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett was back here, and his rookie year was 2016, if I have to say so myself. Played one game because Jimmy Garoppolo had an injury too, along with a Brady suspension, and then got traded to the Colts where we got Philip Dorsett out of it, if I remember correctly. And Philip Dorsett lasted like 3 years in New England, so not that good. But now Brissett's back in New England after some stops at Miami, at Cleveland, most recently Washington. And it's good to see some veteran presence that's been around to get a feel for what the NFL is like, to come back and maybe show some of that to the Patriot area.
Yeah, and all around the league, quarterbacks, some veteran quarterbacks moving into some of these teams that need some help. Joe Flacco to the Colts, and you saw Russell Wilson going to going to the Steelers. That's pretty big. The Steelers seem to be busy early out of the gate with Patrick Queen and Russell Wilson both going to the Steelers. So they're kind of retooled. We'll see what Kenny Pickett does.
Yep, and our producer is here, so I'm going to take my God's word. I mean, you can talk over.
All right, so there's more running backs on the move. Pretty much all the big names that you'd expect are here, and they're on a new team for this next season. Derrick Henry going to the Baltimore Ravens. Austin Eckler is a Commander. Josh Jacobs to Green Bay. Joe Mixon got traded to Houston. It's
safe to say these are some pretty big movements around the area, and also a big movement as our producer has just come on to the show. Welcome back, Ashton, or welcome in, Ashton. But either way, these are some really, really, really big moves in terms of running backs, and it's going to be interesting to see how, the market changes with these guys too. I mean, last offseason we were looking at if they were underpaid and overutilized, and now we could potentially see a potential change. I lost my train of thought on that.
Well, better late than never for Ashton to show up, and the Eagles are putting pieces together here with them signing Saquon Barkley, which was big, and they have C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I know you prefer his real name. He's going to Philly too. There's
good old Chauncey.
Yeah, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I haven't heard that one before. Devin White is headed to Philadelphia. That's a big guy from the Buccaneers. He was huge in that Super Bowl victory, and now he's joining the Eagles. This team just keeps adding pieces.
It continuously does. The Eagles, I mean, with the biggest retirement of this offseason being Jason Kelce, it's going to be interesting to see how that offensive line performs, or how the new guy under center will do. A big part of the tush push, that infamous Eagles QB sneak play. That'll be, I wouldn't say interesting, but that'll be something to watch as we head into the season and we see the tush push being attempted, or if we're going to see the tush push at all.
Another something to watch was where Calvin Ridley was going to sign. There was big talks about him and big interest everywhere, with the Patriots being in the mix and the chance that he'd go back to Jacksonville, but he ended up signing with the Titans. And if you look at the odds and you look at Calvin Ridley's past, it only makes sense for him to go sign with a team that had about plus 5,000 odds of landing him. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if he gets suspended a year or something again, because that's a little suspect. I don't know if he got a big deal too. $92 million. He might have made a little extra on the side with betting on his own signing. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe he used Flip. Not that we are not using it. Don't do gambling.
If you gamble, you can gamble with fake money on Fliff. We're not sponsored, but if you're gonna do it, hey,
but don't take
fake
it.
money's
Don't
not
take
bad.
it to an evil path. Don't take
I
it to an
mean,
evil path.
Maybe our friend of the show, Ben Chen, might benefit from using Fliff once in a while, but
Yeah.
I've seen some pretty good success. They had a crazy boosted play that was basically free money for Barcelona to win a game and have 5+ corners in the game and have a more shots on goal, which all seemed like they had to happen if they win, they'd have to do all three.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that, ran with it. I'm feeling pretty good. I know you kind of struggled out of the gate, but maybe
Hey,
you'll
I'm
get
not-
back soon.
Yeah, I'm not the greatest. Again, don't gamble.
Not the
but
greatest
yeah,
ball knower.
Yeah, I'm just not the greatest predictor.
Okay.
Yeah, thank goodness I'm not betting with real money. Don't gamble. Important message to the show. I do not condone gambling or any of it.
Another big move in the NFL free agency scene was Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta, and as a result, Desmond Ridder got sent out of town. But Kirk Cousins, he was with the Vikings. He got hurt, and now it's a new start in Atlanta. And maybe Kyle Pitts will get the ball once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, the reason Kirk Cousins is probably going to get Kyle Pitts' number because he asked him, what should I do? Should I give you a check or something to donate to charity? And he's like, I just want more targets. And hopefully we're going to see some more targets from what was supposed to be the greatest or highest drafted tight end. Supposed to be a supposed tight end legend, which has not been utilized by Arthur Smith. And Arthur Smith has not utilized a lot of he's utilized Jonnu Smith and Matt Collins is what I can say. Maybe with new head coach Raheem Morris, Zach Robinson, the QB coach from the Rams at the OC now, we should see some much more effectiveness out of the Falcons' offense this year.
And just yesterday, Keenan Allen was traded to the Bears, and Mike Williams was released. So you saw two of the biggest Chargers receivers go out of town quickly, and Brian Burns also got traded from the Panthers to the Giants. That seemed to drum up a little bit of anger online from some famous country musicians on the return that the Panthers were able to get. But, what can you do? The Panthers continue to trade their pieces. They traded McCaffrey, and now there goes Brian Burns.
Yeah, I mean, they got him to a massive extension, too, so he's there for a while. The Panthers, in terms of trading, have just been very, very bad at it. I mean, again, you got Christian McCaffrey traded for scraps, basically. I mean, there was like a second-round pick in there. Was there a second-round pick in there? Not even sure about that. I mean,
definitely wasn't the best they could get.
Yeah, they traded for number 1 for Bryce Young for what was essentially the next couple years of their future. That hasn't turned out well so far. I'm still rooting for Bryce. And they traded, another one of the trades, Sam Darnold. They had like a second-round pick for him. That didn't work out. So a lot of trades that have not worked out for the Panthers in their way, and they've overpaid a lot.
Team looks hopeless, you can say the least.
I mean, another team that's looking hopeless, Jazz. I mean, the Chargers, they released both their top wide receivers. Mike Williams cut, and Keenan Allen was traded to Chicago for a 4th-round pick.
Yep. Like I said a couple minutes ago, they were both big wide receivers for the Chargers and important pieces that are no longer on the team. And we already said how Eckler is off to Washington, so it's going to be a whole new look for Justin Herbert.
Yeah, it's Quentin Johnson, wide out 1, and then is Jordan Palmer on the team right now. Wide receiver 3 legend, Jordan Palmer, a big 6'3" guy. The defense had a lot of restructurings. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack both had to restructure to, free up some cap space for the Chargers. And now Justin Herbert has Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh has a very, very, very questionable offense heading into the draft and into the season.
Those are most of the big transactions that's happened in the NFL free agency and with trades and releases and all of that. But there's more news in the sports world because for the Red Sox, they re-signed Brian Bayo to a big extension before the regular season kicks off, and that's an exciting move. And the Red Sox will probably still finish 68 and 94 on the year. That's my official prediction because this team looks hopeless. We have no pitching anymore after Lucas Giolito goes down for the season before the season starts.
Yeah.
And we didn't sign anyone to replace him, so it's going to be another rough year to be a Red Sox fan. And I'm not even going to mention anything about Tim Yeen's baseball takes because yesterday or last episode was pretty combative, and we don't need that again.
Yeah.
So I'll just stay away from baseball this time around.
I mean, just one thing, Chaz. You would have loved the baseball question yesterday at the driver game show thing.
Unfortunately, I had to go to my internship, but Tim Yeen stuck it out and stayed around for the game show. It's the same game show we had last year. And, Tim, you can tell us a little about your experience and maybe what that baseball question was.
It was something where the answer was 15 seconds. I did not guess 15 seconds.
Talking about the pitch clock?
Yeah, something on that, like that, when like the bases are empty.
And
Yeah.
the pitch clock's 15 seconds.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, I think I would get it. You know, and you labeled yourself as a pop culture expert, I'm pretty sure. Would you, after your performance, consider yourself a pop culture expert? Or were you kind of taking on water for your team?
It was like taking on water. It was like the bigger pop culture, like. So
you,
I mean,
it wasn't your type of pop culture.
yeah, wasn't
All
my
right.
type of pop culture. Maybe if it
It
was,
type of heat culture, maybe.
maybe that. And not even heat culture. It's more of a, I have more of a knowledge of the video games and all that.
So how did your team end up doing?
We did not finish in the top 10.
Okay.
We had 2 opportunities to position ourselves in the final 4 by doing 2 improv things. The first one was a dance competition. We had Cam Felici go up there. He gritted for the entire time.
Oh, my God. That was definitely losing.
Yeah, we did not win. And then the second one, I came up there to do some improv thing.
Yep.
It was about, telling your brother who has amazing grades and is a terrific athlete and basically is all set to not be drowsy while driving.
Don't drowsy and drive.
Yeah. I lost that. It was a 1v1 to Ben Vetiak.
You got to win your ones, man.
I know. And unfortunately, I didn't play up to the competition today. Maybe if I had the chance to defer, I could have had the chance to scan my opponent and make the adjustments.
I was not there in attendance. I got to leave to my internship period too. But yesterday, such a beautiful day. Got to go to the golf course and then go back to the golf course. And, I'm improving. Maybe the spring season will bring on golf for me. I'm not too sure. I might not be at that level yet. But I'm not losing as many balls, and I'm kind of hitting them straight most of the time. So I'm getting pretty all right there. I know my friend John Garcia got the best of me in the game we played against each other, but I was kind of making some mistakes there, kind of not taking it seriously enough to really take it home. After I played 9 holes before I played with my friend, and I had a pretty decent round for myself. And then the second round that I played with my friend, I added on 11 strokes, and that's what cost me.
Yeah.
I lost by 3 strokes, but I still hit some great shots, a chip in from all the way below the hole. I couldn't see it, and I just tossed it right in there. I don't know how I did that. But, it was a great day, great vibes yesterday. It's great to roll down the windows finally and be able to drive with the windows down and the music up.
Yeah, also apparently a great day to stand up for some reason. We got like all of us standing up now.
You know, sometimes standing up, you can get the voices passing through your whatever system it goes to move up and out, and you project your voice better, and it comes out better when you're talking. So sometimes it helps, and sometimes it's just a better move. And Tim, I know that you have a kindness slip here. You might be the only one that takes them, but
I mean, surprisingly, I mean they go by for somehow. I mean, last I checked it, like at least two of them were like out. One of them was like the humor one, so I guess the humor ones are pretty popular options here.
well, you got some on your laptop, and now you have one in your hand. You want to share this with the viewers?
I think this is going to be a very important lesson for the rest of the podcasting season. Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace, Chaz. So very Buddha-esque, if I had to say so myself.
Well, you know, the student council continues to roll on, and you guys have a big event planned.
Yeah, big
And
event.
when is it taking place?
Today.
Oh, yeah, taking place today. Announced how many days ago? 3, 2?
A week ago.
Really? All
Or
right.
Actually, wait.
When was the
Tuesday.
movie decided? Tuesday?
It wasn't decided Tuesday. It was decided last Thursday.
Last Thursday? When was it announced?
So the thing was chosen and won on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It was Kung Fu Panda, which
All right, I'll
you
take
know,
it.
you'll take
You know,
it.
90s to 2000s movies, and
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda coming
I
out
know-
in
I know.
2008. It's pushing it, but at least it's not literally not in the decades that
Hey.
you aligned it to. I mean, Toy Story 3 is there, and it came out in 2010. There's 2 movies before it that came out in the time period that you guys set, but it's all right because Kung Fu Panda 1 may be boosted by Kung Fu Panda 4 out in theaters now. I've heard it's pretty okay.
It's okay, I guess. They're more. I think I've heard they cater more to the kids.
Well,
You know, for this time around. I mean, I know it's always been catered to the kids, but I guess it's more funny, happy, jokey. That's what I'm hearing. Jack Black played a pretty good Britney Spears, though. I mean, did you see the TikTok of him?
Yeah, you know, Jack Black's definitely a talented player, talented actor for sure. And you talked about being for the kids, and that's a perfect transition into the National Honor Society, where there's nobody who's more for the kids when making paper bags than Charlie Adams, because my bags looked great. I mean, there's no photo evidence of yours. We can only take your word for it. But mine were looking very, very solid with some great themes and some great messages to the kids.
Yeah. I did more of a for the girls type of thing because, you know, all the little boys and the little girls need to be all happy with their lunches. I made a Taylor Swift bag for one of them. The second one, I made like a little puppet thing.
How'd
It
you
wasn't-
manage to do a puppet?
So there's like a little, you know, like the little bottom of the bag where like kind of like, you know, it's like kind of like creased, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, so I kind of like did that, drew some eyes,
How was that?
put like a little.
How's that going to
shirt.
fare as a lunch bag?
You know,
Interactive lunch bag.
if the kids don't destroy it, I mean.
Yeah, you know, mine, I had one bag full of aquatic themes.
Yeah.
You know, a big panda one, a big turtle one. The turtle one was the last one, and you can kind of tell. But the keep smiling one with all the driving cars and animals and all on the road. And then there's a hamster that's looking down at a cat. And the cat is looking up. It says, "Don't stop, keep going." And you know why? Because the hamster's going to have to not stop and keep going. If they want to survive, that's what my idea was going in
Is
there.
that a motivational message to the kids to keep going
Yeah,
for
you
your
got to keep
dreams?
pushing. Keep pushing. It's a rat race or a hamster race. And, you know, the panda eating ice cream, saying treat yourself, it just makes sense. They're enjoying some good food, and take it slow with the turtles. They're sea turtles, and they're underwater, but take it slow regardless. It's all right. The message gets across. Then keep smiling with all these smiling animals driving cars. And yeah, it's pretty good bags. I know you had some comments about mine, but I think mine definitely hold their own and will be supporting the kids.
Yeah. End of the day, it's all about the kids, and we got it done. We got the job done. You know, your motivations may be questioned, but end of the day, we got it done.
Now,
Yeah.
Tim, you wrote in the planning sheet for this podcast that you just want to confirm everything is confirmed. Can you explain that? Because I'm not too sure what you're talking about. Maybe it's about Spirit Week, which I heard is building up for maybe a week coming up here.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I do have to say this. If everything gets approved,
It's going to be on a how many day week?
a 4-day. But we have, since the Polar Plunge is also coming up, and the Unified Basketball Team has that home game versus Cranston West next Thursday in the morning. There's going to be an extra 2 days tacked on if everything is all good to go. A green out day.
So we're talking a 6-day week, and you're going to get those 2 required days out of the way in the first.
I guess kind of. I mean,
Required
kind of. I mean, yeah,
school
technically.
color and
School
green out.
color and to choose to include shirt.
All right.
The Unified Basketball Team is. Any of the Unified teams are always, fantastic to watch. I mean, it's always great seeing them out there, especially in the morning. We get the period off, just a fun time.
Yeah, I'm not going to harken back to the Spirit Week that was candy themed with all that. We don't need to go into, what was it, Twix Tuesday and Twizzler Tuesday? Yeah, we don't need to talk about any of that.
Twix Twizzler Tuesday thing.
Yeah. We don't need to go all the way back.
I mean,
there.
I'm just saying you could have added 2K generics on, but
Yeah, well, you could have had one theme, but we picked 2 candies and kind of ruined the whole thing. The vibes were killed. The vibes were killed.
My fault. Do not let the choice of 2 candies destroy your inner 2K generic.
You have an obsession with these slips that they hand out, and I don't know what to say.
I mean, they're inspirational to me.
Go ahead.
You get words of inspiration from.
What's the one on your laptop right now?
Um,
It's one of your favorites of all time. It has a little emoji at the end. I know that much.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty good one,
Yeah, I think it was like something along the lines of never wake up to be average. A pretty inspirational message, if I have to say so myself. I always strive to be at my very best. I'm sure everyone does. Everyone in this room. I don't know what the producer is doing right now. He's doing some sort of dance. We're not going to get into that. But he certainly didn't wake up today to be an average person. You didn't wake up today to be an average person.
There's also going on in the world since our last episode, the Oscars. There was a lot of
what's
going on.
What's John Cena doing there, Chaz?
Well, if you ask some people online, they have their own ideas of what's behind John Cena's performance, but
it
seems like all good fun, I guess. John Cena trying to present an award, but needing some help from Jimmy Fallon, Kimmel.
I mean, they're
all the same. I don't know. It was a pretty good show. I think the hosting was fine. I didn't watch it intentionally or anything, but you see the highlights online. Ryan Gosling's performance as Ken was actually entertaining, and it was cool to see them use all the actual actors from the Barbie movie.
Did they play the Ken song?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Full performance with all the actors from the movie instead of just random background dancers.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, pretty exciting to watch, and now we can go into the presidential election. I guess we're qualified enough to talk about politics as we're going to be voting.
We put that in the
We're going to be voting, so we can talk about it, and it's sports related because there's news that Aaron Rodgers might be the vice president on the ballot for RFK as the independent running candidate group, and that's pretty exciting. I don't know.
I mean, if you're
they don't usually win, but I just want to know if they actually somehow win, would Aaron Rodgers be playing for the Jets?
I mean, if you're into voting for Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I don't care. Do what you want. I mean, it's not like we have. Well, I'm not gonna get into the political, but if he were to be elected, I'd assume that obviously I think he'd be able to play most of the season if the Jets don't make the playoffs. Because, and unless he's campaigning on Sundays, I mean, I don't see why he would.
You don't want to get into the politics, but you were an A-push last year.
Yeah.
We learned about the Cold War. The spying going on in the Cold War. I know you've had some run-ins with spying since our last episode, and reached out. I don't know if Matty J's listening, but what are you thinking about your kind of not so secretive stalking?
Hey, tried our best. Like Drake said, just didn't work out. Yeah, so
Gotta make an alt account, man.
Yeah. Oh well.
Gotta have a secret
Oh well.
secondary account.
Oh well. So
You could have just been a little more secretive about it. I've gotten peeks, but I haven't gotten that text, so it's all right.
Do you use your little cat account to?
No, I have plenty of accounts I could go on though.
The little the gamer account.
Chaz the Man 43. I could have used my professional Charlie Adams 43 _. account. Could have gone on TB Sports Media. Could have used Cairo the Cat 43.
Yeah.
Chaz the Spam 43.
Okay.
I have
if he
Christian Adams fan account too. I could
if he
have
is
logged
listening,
into.
then I guess exposing all your accounts, I guess is a good idea.
Believe in Steve. I could have signed in on there, but there's always options for me.
Yeah, it seems like you
Always
have a
options.
lot of accounts to run to, which most of them are dead anyway. So
Whoa, man.
hey,
Calm down.
when's the next gamer post?
I don't know. The gamer? What,
Yeah.
my gaming account?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even mention that one. Did I? No, yes. I do have Chick Z. I haven't posted on that in a while. I have one clip. But it's a pretty good clip from a quick match in Rainbow
Yeah,
Six
got
Siege.
you 7 followers. Congrats.
Thank you. That's almost as many views as you got on your reading book for NHS.
Yeah.
But, MLB The Show comes out today, if you're listening, today. And I can't wait. And it's going to be great. And it looks great. And it's going to be great. And I'm never downloading Tekken. Don't talk about it. Because MLB The Show is out. There's pretty much nothing that I'm going to play anymore. I'll hop on Siege occasionally. I'll hop on WWE occasionally. But you can just keep your games to the side. But buy MLB The Show because you have a PlayStation. It's like your game.
Is it crossplay?
PlayStation is the makers of... Yes, it's crossplay. PlayStation makes MLB The Show. There's co-op games, too. You can play a game together. You can play trios. Like, it's actually a ton of fun.
I feel like
I've played trios before with me. I think it was either Emmett Billings and Ashton Allison, I think. We played trios on MLB The Show. And I'm not going to say who, but somebody sold, and he might be in the room with us because he couldn't hit. I know for a fact that I played duos with Ashton, and he completely sold, almost as bad as Emmett sold. Emmett gave up a grand slam somehow in like the last inning when we were leading by 5.
Yeah, like
if
I do get it, you're gonna have to forgive me because I've never played the show before.
Well, it's a hard learning curve. It's the most skilled sports game that's out. It just as baseball is hardest sport to learn and hit a ball, learn how to hit a round bat with a round ball and make it go straight. It's the same in MLB The Show. It's the same curve. That's why PGA games and MLB games are both of the hardest games for sports fans to get used to. It can be frustrating, but when you're actually good at it, they have actual content, and they actually care about their community, despite the servers being down within 15 minutes of early access starting. I'll forgive them for that. It happens every year. I mean, what are we doing?
Maybe it's just the hype of it. I mean,
yeah, crash the servers. The Xbox servers were up about 10 minutes early, so I was on at 11:50, looking at everything and opening packs, and then the servers died. So it was off for the night. Probably good for my bedtime, but it's all right. And it's a great game. It's a great game. I can't say enough about it. I've been talking about it for the past 2 minutes straight because it's a great game, and I'm excited. Almost wanted to skip today, but the podcast has to come before MLB The Show, I guess.
Yeah.
And
I can't exactly do all the setup you can do, Chaz.
To make the equipment, yeah. I mean, we do have a backup setup that would do fine that we used to use, but this is definitely better. I know My dad listened to the last episode. That's one of like the first
Oh, wow.
episodes my parents listened to, and
Oh wow, how
thank you. They said, or my dad said that it got old after a while because all we were doing was arguing. So
Wow.
tried to hold off a little on this episode from
Yeah,
arguing with you.
I mean we're trying our best not to get into, just yelling show territory. Those classic first take shows.
Yeah, I know the Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee apparently have had
Yeah.
some disagreements over at ESPN.
Yeah, now is the time for love and respect and kindness.
Speaking of, all right, jeez,
Spring is in the
you
air.
gotta stop picking these things up.
Spring is in the air.
Speaking of Pat McAfee and video games and WWE, there's been some backlash out because Pat McAfee was announced to be a DLC for the game.
DLC.
He's a DLC. I mean, he's one of the.
Can't you download custom?
Yeah, you can. He's always a downloadable character if someone makes him. But last year he joined the company back as a broadcaster on Monday Night Raw with Michael Cole, and now he's on DLC. But the big thing that's catching a lot of flack is they brought in every co-host as part of his DLC. So his DLC includes the Toxic Table, Boston Connor, and Ty Schmidt are in a WWE 2K video game, along with former NFL players and also friends of the program, constant guests on the program. Darius Butler and AJ Hawk is in a video game.
AJ Hawk.
That's exciting. I can't wait because I'm a Pat McAfee show fan, but
How much is it?
the DLC would probably be $10.
$10.
That's what their normal DLC costs, maybe $8. I don't know.
For that many
You can
people.
buy the season pass.
It
for
sounds like
$30.
a lot of people. It sounds like a good
Well,
deal.
yeah, but people are thinking that 2K wasted their time putting in these stooge talk show hosts when they could have put in actual WWE guys who aren't in the game. I mean, come on. Have some fun.
Yeah.
Usually they have 4 DLC packs. This year they have 5 because Pat McAfee didn't want to take anyone's spot. And, hey, I'm excited. I'm a fan of Pat McAfee and the show. So I can't wait to see what they do with that. But
something else related to combat sports. Did you hear the news? Jake Paul.
Oh, no, God.
Against
How did this make the program?
Mike Tyson. It just popped up in my head.
Covering this is crazy.
Hey, it's Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, the matchup of all
Problem
time.
child versus Mike Tyson. And, yeah, don't expect anyone to get knocked out.
Any ears bitten off?
You saw, probably not. You saw Mike Tyson hitting pads and legendary MMA combat athlete Chael Sonnen said in a response to Mike Tyson hitting the pads that maybe next time he should pour some water on his head to make it seem like he was actually training and not just hitting the pads one time. Because, he looked good on the pads for the 5 seconds he hit them, but clearly wasn't breaking a sweat. We'll see how the fight shapes out. And before I can go home to play MLB The Show, I have to go through ELA class. And then, of course, I have one more period.
But sad news. Mr. Smith is not here today. So.
Yeah, maybe then he'll be able to listen to this podcast right on release. Who knows? Yeah. I don't know what he's up to 100%, but I know that he's left us today for a big work day. And, Tim, what do you plan on working on during this English class?
He did say to work on some English stuff, so.
Nice.
Yeah, so I will either be working on. There's 2 options, but I'm probably going to be working on my portfolio, which is going to be on April 2nd, because it got pushed back to April 2nd for apparently no reason. I'm not too sure on why they moved it early.
I don't know how you used pushed back to say moving it early, but
I don't know the terminology.
Maybe pushed forward would do a good job at describing it. But, yeah, April 2nd is really early. I don't know.
I guess looking at a calendar, you can push it back.
No, I don't know. I don't think you can. But, I think I'm going to get those final outline done, I think, because after doing the quotes and making those note cards, I kind of, when you're using the usages, you're kind of making more of those points in the similar fashion to the outline. I think it's kind of building up well. I'm not going to give too much credit, but I think the project's building up well and making it pretty manageable to work your way up through the steps and kind of building off one another.
Yeah, I gotta work on mine swiftly. Obviously, can't work on it during vacation because I am out the country. So that is the essay is due.
Oh, yeah.
The paper is due. The rough draft paper is due April 8th.
Something like that. And you were talking about the portfolio, and we're practicing our public speaking to gear up for it. We had speeches last Wednesday. More speeches coming up, and
I had to say, I really enjoyed your speech, Chaz. I mean, you really,
well, thank you.
You really emphasized all the parts out there.
I was 10 seconds off the minute goal.
Yeah, beginning to
a little
end.
Early, and I would have got there. I just forgot to mention the student council, which was a big point that I wanted to get across, and I just passed my mind when I was up there in front of the crowd. Mr. Smith's room is set up so close to the front of the classroom that sometimes they'd want you to just push up against the chalkboard and take off half the board with you.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I had Evan Morrell right in front of me, that goof. And, Tim, you gave a great halftime speech. I don't know who you were motivating, but I think the whole classroom was ready to run through a wall after you were done talking.
Yeah.
And then it turned out it was just some Heat banter. You were just bantering on about the Heat.
Mr. Smith didn't realize what I was talking about until I actually did that. So maybe the message was a little bit confusing, but I feel like I got the message across. I feel like everyone was listening, everyone was focused.
So Tim's word was culture, referring to Heat culture. My word was leadership. And there's still some speeches left to go. I know our guy Daniel Alvarez has hypocrite left. I'm interested to see what he does for that. He says he has something planned. We'll see.
And anyone else from Chaz's crew still having to do anything, or?
Junior
Actually,
went. I think we all went.
Yeah.
Because Junior was the last guy. And, in the library on Wednesday when we were planning the episode, Mr. Smith went incognito, and he caught you lacking. You thought he was in ISS. He was right in front of your eyes.
He was cloaked up.
Hey. I mean, it was pretty good hiding. At least it got past you. Mm-hmm. And, pretty decent. Pretty decent. It's a good day out, good weather-wise. Hopefully everyone can enjoy the weather, enjoy the podcast. And
good day to get off the floor, off the earbuds. Go out for a walk, put back on the earbuds.
Tim, how did you spend yesterday?
I spent yesterday sleeping.
Oh, my goodness. On that day?
I was
tired. On the greatest day?
Yesterday I slept at like 2 a.m.
You got to go outside. You got to look up in the sky and let the sun's energy. So let the sun's energy beam down on you.
Okay, are you like a sun god now?
No, this is just how it works.
I'm just
if it's
saying,
a nice sunny day, you got to let that energy grow inside of you. Head out to Doric or wherever's near you. Head out to Bayfield Park or something.
It was a tiring day. I mean, I just wanted to sleep
later.
Off.
You could sleep later. I mean, that was a beautiful day. Today, no sun to be seen, but still some warmth and maybe a little humidity. It's getting hot in here.
So take off all your clothes.
I don't consent.
So long.
Do you prefer the original to that song or NLE Choppa's version?
The original, definitely.
Definitely. I don't know. But I do know we're reaching the end of this podcast, and Tim Means trying to make this podcast never run again. So before that can happen, Tim, sign us off.
And a little bit of
Oh, my God.